Hi and welcome to our YouTube channel. I'm starting another series on short pastries, and in this video I'll be working on sweet short pastries, making items such as apple pies and jam tarts from the pastry. There are other types of short pastry. You have the savory ones that you use for meat pies, and you have the enriched ones that you can prepare for the use of items such as flapjack. But in this series, I'm just going to concentrate on the sweet paste using flour, 100% of flour, 50% of butter or margarine, and then I'll use a quarter of that will be sugar. Granulated sugar is best, and then a pinch of salt mixed with liquid, which will be about 25% of the flour ratio. The liquid could be milk or a mixture of milk and egg, or just plain water if you are doing it for commercial purposes. Come along with me. To prepare short pastry, the sweet one, I have 300 grams of flour, that's plain flour. I have half quantity, which is 150 grams of butter. You can also use cake margarine, and I have 75 grams of sugar. I will be adding a pinch of salt, like I said, 3 fingers of salt, just to balance the sweetness. I have 1 egg and 25 ml of water and 25 ml of milk. For the sweet pastry, you can either use water on its own, or you can have a mixture of milk, water and egg, or you can use egg on its own or milk on its own. It's up to you how rich you want your pastry to be. But this one, I'm going to have a mixture of the egg, the milk and the water, and I'll be starting by crumbling the flour. So I'll place my margarine into the flour, add a pinch of salt, and I'll be using my spoon to break the butter into the flour. I'm trying to use the rubbing method rather than use the palm of my hand. I prefer to use the spoon just to mix the margarine or the butter into the flour until I get a crumble texture. I've got the flour and the butter mixed in, and the next step is to place the sugar into the water, add the egg and a little bit of milk. I'm going to whisk the egg mixture. Then this will go into the mixture of flour and butter. Mix with a spoon or a fork until you have a short pastry dough. Pastry is mixed ready, so I'm going to rest in the fridge for about half an hour. So cover it with some cling film or a piece of damp cloth and place in the fridge for about 30 minutes. To prepare the filling for the apple pies, I have 2 Granny Smith apples, one green one that is been washed, the other one has been washed and peeled, and I have a knob of butter, some granulated sugar and some cinnamon for the flavoring. I'm going to use 2 methods for the filling. The first one is just the simple one of cutting the unpeeled apples, slicing it and remove the cores, remove the core center of the apple into small cubes. Slice up the apples, and I'm going to add some cinnamon into the apples, a knob of butter and a teaspoon of granulated sugar. Mix the apples and the spice and the margarine. The apples from changing color, I'll add a tiny bit, a few drops of some lemon juice. Leave the mixture to rest for a few minutes to get some of the excess water out, and it's ready for the filling of the apple pie. For my second filling, for the apple pies, I have a peeled apple. I'm going to slice it and remove the core, which contains all the seeds that you don't want from the apples, and into a saucepan add enough of butter, that's like a teaspoon of butter. Add the apples, you can break it up into smaller sizes if you want, then add a teaspoon of sugar, that's granulated sugar. Cook the apple until it's nice and soft. So I'm going to transfer it into a clean bowl, and you can either use the back of a spoon to mash the apple into cubes or use a potato masher to mash until it's nice and smooth. The next step is to roll the short pastry into about 1/8 of an inch. So I'm going to take my chilled short pastry and take it into a bowl on the flour surface, little bit of flour, and gently roll out the pastry. Next step is to prepare some things. I'm making mini apple pies, so I'm just going to use the little cake tins. You can also use some mini pie tins. If you are making a large one, you can use an oven dish or a round pie dish, but I'm making small ones, so I'm going to cut into small discs, round disc. For some, I will have some covers, so I'll cut smaller one for covers, and for a few, I'm going to use the crisscross, so I'm using a pastry wheel to cut out some strands. You can also use a knife to do this effect. So I'm going to lay this out crisscross as the cover for the pastry. So into the tin, I'll place my pastry, then I'll be adding a spoonful of the apple filling with a smaller pastry cut out. I'll gently seal the top onto the bottom, and then I'll cut the top of the pastry. You can either use a fork or a knife so that there can be like a vent for the steam from the apples to break through the pastry. I'm going to use some milk to lightly go over the pastry just to give it color during baking. You can also use egg, whisk egg to glaze the top of the pastry to give it a nice color effect once it's baked. Place the pastry onto a tray for easy pickup from the oven once it's cooked, and bake at about 190 to 200 degrees for about 12 to 15 minutes. I'm going to rest it for about 5 minutes just to allow the pastry to recover from the handling, so it would, to prevent it from shrinking in the oven during baking. The oven is, I've turned the oven down to preheat, so during the preheating I'm just going to leave this to rest for a few minutes. The apple pies are ready, and I'm going to place them onto a cake wire to cool down before serving.